It's time for the Bookie and the Better Show. If you're a sports fan, now it's time to play the odds and make every bet count. Now introducing Rob Kowalski, the Bookie, and Randy Weick, the Better.
Welcome back to the Bookie and Better Show. Once again, I am your host, Robert Kowalski. Thank you so much for joining all of you. I'm joined by my esteemed friends from Baldini's. Nick Schulte.
Hey, Rob. How you doing?
Nick. Randy Weick is here.
Hey, Rob.
You know, one of these days, I'm going to ask Chris to pull out the B-roll because some of the things that happen here in our studio before we actually go live, well, they're interesting. Let's just say that after the football season's done, we'll probably talk about some of the other sports that happen across our country and the things that people do to handicap them.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that for now.
I like it. I'm excited.
You know, I did promise another thing. I said that I was going to track records. And Randy, I have receipts. Yes, I do.
Okay.
And Nick, I have receipts. We'll get to yours in a little bit as well. Randy, you gave out 6 picks and you made a comment. I'm not going to have people go back and rewind it. That's what I'm here to do live right now. Randy, you said a number 7 seed would never, ever in the history of this sport
No,
be a number 2.
I didn't say it would never happen. I didn't say it would never happen. That's what the records show.
Correct.
A number 7 seed did not. Not I said it.
Right. Well, you said it live on our show.
Yes.
And because of this, much like some of the other things that you state,
True.
they come true, or something happens directly
The
as
Randy
a
Weick
correlation.
luck, yeah.
The Randy Weick luck, and
Yeah.
so a 7 seed, Tampa, beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Congratulations, Randy, you did that. You also said that the Eagles would cover the spread. They did not do that. You also said, though, that the Houston Texans would win outright on the money line. Great job there. So I'm going to cut to the chase. You went 3-3. Insert graphic here. 3-3, and I might even give you credit for a positive week in wild card plus bonus weekend because of that money line play. And in this heads-up battle against Nick Schulte here, I might give you a multiplier because you had to make more picks. I haven't decided yet. What I do know is that you definitely owe Nick $100 because you said that the Dallas Cowboys would win a playoff game. They did not do that. They lost. And the other receipt that I'm keeping is that you also still owe $10 in fines from last week.
$10 in fines?
Yes.
And
I fined you twice.
And what are those fines for?
Go back to the tape and you could watch it.
Okay.
Nick, you're not going unscathed either.
I knew this was coming.
The Cleveland Browns are not even in the AFC Championship game, much less winning it outright. Thoughts?
I got nothing on it. I mean, the Browns, you had a veteran quarterback come in and kind of save their season, the Super Bowl winning quarterback, and they were on a roll. They had the really good defense and just never showed up to play for that game, and their season's done. And
Turn out the lights, the party's over.
what he said.
So what are we going to bring for you today? Well, obviously, we've got 4 incredible matchups in the NFL that I'd love to break down from a bettor's perspective. Obviously, injuries always happen. Some of these teams that are appearing here for the first time in the playoffs had a nice rest. The Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers. They start off Saturday's tilt. The Texans will be playing at Baltimore early here Pacific, 1:30 p.m. Baltimore, plenty of rest. Looks like everyone's pretty healthy there. From an offensive perspective, of course, Lamar Jackson. We got Zay Flowers, Gus Edwards, Mark Andrews, all of them. I mean, Odell Beckham Jr., everyone's 100% going into this game. So I guess we can always talk about rest versus rust if that's a handicapping technique you like to look at. I know Randy might have a thought on that. And, of course, the other matchup with a rested team is another team that's on the bye. The Green Bay Packers visit the San Francisco 49ers. Both teams, the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers, opened as 10-point favorites. That seemed to be too high, so that must be the ceiling, gentlemen. 9.5 is a number that we're dealing with. Let's go ahead and start off with the first game here on Saturday for the NFL Divisional Playoffs. Houston Texans at the Baltimore Ravens. Randy, let's start with you. Ravens, 9.5, the total 43.5.
Well, and again, will that week's rest give them added incentive? And again, I know they had some guys sit the final regular season game as well. Texans right now, of course, Stroud is everybody's Cinderella play. This this is where the bookies come into play with me with the trap
Traps,
line.
right? Exactly. Like I trapped you last week. Of course.
So Texans getting 9.5, but the total's only 43.5. So you're again basically saying the Texans aren't going to score and the Ravens are going to win 27-10 or something like that.
Okay.
So I like the Ravens in this one. I'm hesitant with the total, but I do like the Ravens. I'm going Ravens.
Yeah, definitely. You don't have to. Remember, I'm not asking you to make 3 plays a game. I just need a play, whether it's
Ravens.
a side total or money line. You're laying 9.5. And so that is your first play that we're going to track here, Mr. Wyke. You know, Nick, we talk about traps, and Randy accused me, and I took umbrage to it, that I trap people. And you bookies, you trap
You do
the
such a
betting
thing?
public.
Never.
And it's exactly what I did. I do believe I did, in fact, trap Randy in the Detroit Lions LA Rams game. Right? He's waving his head. He's waving it. Yes, exactly. So bad radio. On those of you listening to podcast, thank you. Randy was very animated. Double thumbs up, a good head nod. That he laid the 3. He also said that the Rams might have a chance to win outright. Well, you know what? I did, in fact, trap him because the Lions didn't cover the 3 and the Rams didn't win. Sounds like a good old-fashioned trap to me, Nick.
Yep. Indeed. Indeed.
Ravens, Texans.
And I would have won a lot of money, by the way, had the Rams won. Because I took them on the money line.
That's right.
With the Texans on the money line.
Exactly.
With the Bucks on the money line. And they cover the spread and don't win.
You know what else would have made me a ton of money? If I would have bet Spirit Airlines on the stock market when it was 3 cents.
I
That
know.
also would have
It's
made me a lot
similar.
of money, but that's
So
not that kind of show.
We're on that kind of show.
Exactly right. It's all about gambling, whether it's on Wall Street or in the sports book.
I think we need to put some disclaimer, not financial advisor. This is not blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, hey, this is
See
not
all that
financial advice. All of you, do not listen to any of this, especially from me.
It's called entrapment.
It's called a trap, but he says. I'm curious. I mean, you're down to the 4 teams left in the AFC and the NFC, and these are supposed to be your 4 best teams from each conference. How do you get a 9.5 point spread? I mean, are the Ravens just that dominant of a team? They're a great team, don't get me wrong. They embarrassed my 49ers outright, but I do not think they cover this 9.5. So I think it's going to be a field goal game, maybe 20-24, but I like Texans.
Excellent.
As far as that total, I would look and see what the weather forecast is for that day before betting anything. If it's going to be sunny and there's no snow, wind, anything like that, I like the over. But any chance of snow or extreme cold weathers, I'm taking the over. But definitely Texans with the points.
It's supposed to be windy, right? Isn't that what the
windy is what I understand, yes. At this point, it's still too early to tell. Anything could change overnight. Yeah. But, hey, sounds good. Everybody that's listening in got 1-1. A Texans plus 9.5. We got a Ravens minus 9.5 onwards. And I'm actually not going to go to the next Saturday game. I'm going to save that for the end, being is that I think that someone right here in our podcast definitely wants to chomp at the bit. So let's move on to Sunday. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Who might that be, a 49ers fan?
I am not going to comment now.
Okay.
We're talking now about another fun matchup.
Okay.
Sunday at 12 p.m. Pacific, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to the division champs, Detroit Lions. Now, we opened this game as a Lions 6.5 point favorite. The total was 51. It's now down to 50. Some places even 49.5. With the Lions now pretty much 6 everywhere. Nick, I'm going to have you start off here with the Lions-Buccaneers matchup.
Kind of back to what I was just talking about. I mean, you're down to 4 teams left in each conference, and I mean 6.5 is still a lot to put up. So I'm taking the Buccaneers in this one. I think it's going to be a very close scoring game, and yeah, I like the Bucs with the points.
Do you think that Tampa just met a team that just in the Eagles, and we're talking about the Bucs and Eagles, do we just find an Eagles team that was just absolutely bleached out? Or is it the other way around where you just think Tampa's actually that good?
I think it's a little combination of both, and I think Tampa, nobody had any expectations for Tampa Bay this year. I mean, obviously, quarterback, you went from the GOAT to Baker Mayfield, really not a great comparison there. But, I mean, kind of come out of left field, so to speak, and have the season they did, and they're getting hot when it matters most. So they've won one game, and they're still alive. So I I just don't see the Lions winning by 7. I think the Lions win the game, but I think they win by 5 or less.
5 or less. Mr. Randy, are you going to be chewing nails and biting off kneecaps with the Lions, or
No.
you're going to be following Nick here as well?
I'm going Bucks. My little computer has a 31-27 Lions. I think the Bucks cover. And this is my thought on this game. This game goes down to the wire. Detroit has a long drive and puts it away. We'll see if I hold true.
I'm just curious how old this computer is.
The program's about 11, 12 years.
Okay.
Running on Windows 3.1?
I could be.
Well, I was curious if there's any pictures of the Cowboys' last Super Bowl or something on a floppy disk.
Entrapment.
Kansas City Chiefs at the Buffalo Bills. Somebody say, actually, this is the actual game of the entire weekend, and I'm going to go ahead and say that.
I would agree with that.
You know, Randy, I couldn't get Buffalo up to 3 because I know that's going to be the ceiling, and nothing but Kansas City money starts to flow in. And it's not 2, so we just sat here at 2.5, and we're just moving vig up and down. I don't know if it was McDermott, if it was Allen that just figured things out, but right now Buffalo's really, really clicking, and now they get to host the Kansas City Chiefs. No respect. 2.5? Randy, what do you like
Well,
here?
now this is Mahomes in his career. This is his first road game, right?
Yes,
From
it
the
is.
division
Yes.
playoff. So you've got to take that into consideration looking at this game, and I'm sure that's why that spread's where it is.
Yes.
So with Patrick Mahomes, and again, Kansas City and the weather, that's not going to be a factor. But what's the mental psyche, if you will, of Mahomes on the road with they're starting to get their receivers coming on a little bit.
Kansas City is.
And Kansas City lost 2017 earlier in the year. I'm going on a bold move here. Bold. Because to your point, Buffalo may be the best team in football the last 7 weeks. I'm taking the Chiefs to cover this and maybe win outright.
Okay. Very nice. I see what you did there. I'm not going to allow you to do that. So I'm either going to accept
Entrapment
yes,
again.
I'm either going to take Kansas City Chiefs money line
to cover the spread.
or you're covering. So you want
I'm
to settle it
going to, yeah.
just in case it's a 1-point game.
Because it
you
may
wanna
be a
pick up.
Rams situation again. So, yeah.
Could be, right.
Yeah.
It could have trapped you, and so
Yeah,
you're going to
there
take
you
the
go.
points. Taking the points here, actually going to get even money. So I'm going to be a little generous with you. At least what we have live right now at the Book of Baldini's. Kansas City is plus 2.5 at even money. Very nice. I was hoping that I was going to get something that was going to be a little bit more in Kansas City's favor. Maybe I could get it twice here, Nick. What do you think?
How do you not take Patrick Mahomes when he's getting points in the playoffs? I mean, I know they're not the same team that they used to be, but I mean, I get it. They're away. It is his first ever away game, but I gotta. I mean, he's been in the league now, 5 years? 2017, 18, he was drafted,
Yes.
I think. So, I mean, it's not his first rodeo, and I don't think, his first away playoff game even matters to him that much. So, and like you said, I mean, Chiefs look like they might have found some receivers that can catch.
Rashi Rice, I'm looking at you.
Maybe. But the other thing with this is also going to be the weather situation. I saw a post online. The Bills are already asking fans to come back down and start shoveling. So we'll see if, I mean, maybe they don't even play the game on Sunday again. But I just don't know how you don't take the Chiefs when they're getting points. So Chiefs and points.
Chiefs and points. Sorry,
and-
both of you taking the points here.
And again, I think same thing, like I said, with the Ravens-Texans. It kind of comes down to what the weather report's going to be that game for the total. But if weather looks good, I do like the over. And again, obviously, if weather not so much, I like the under. But I'm assuming if that's the fact, you're going to see that under total fall like a rock.
I can't quite stamp you on that bet, but I'm going to go ahead and just take your Kansas City plus the points here. Nick, I see what you're doing here. All dog day sunrises for you. And so let's go ahead and see if I'm going to get a 4 out of 4 here. Something tells me there's got no shot here. As we circle back to Saturday, late in the evening, 5:15 p.m., the Green Bay Packers coming off of a near 50 burger at San Francisco. Now the benefit of catching 9.5 points. San Francisco, 9.5 points to better. The total 50.5, Nick. How do you see this game breaking down, my friend?
Well, back to what I was talking about. It's you're down to the final few, and why you're getting such a big point spread in the playoffs. It's because you're playing the Niners. I mean, it's the best team out there in football right now. Everybody knows that. Fun fact, since 2022, when the Niners have had a week or more of rest, they are 5-0, and they beat their opponents by an average of 14 points. And another thing you've learned this season is the trend is your friend. So I'm jumping on that trend.
Actually, there's a name of an episode called The Trend is Your Friend. If you haven't seen it, roll right back. You'll find it in our archive.
Perfect example. Look at the matchup. What was last weekend? Packers and whoever they
Dallas?
played. Yeah. I mean, they were Packers were 3-0 in AT&T Stadium. So I went down and bet the money line because the trend is your friend. And what do you know? It worked out for me. So I like the Niners 34-14 in this game.
You know, you had me going the whole time. I'm like, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. He's going to take the points. He really is. But you know what? You gave me a good zigzag.
Yep.
You gave me a good stat. You didn't go back 2 decades like your colleague did. You know what? I want to shake your hand right here. Thank you so
Bravo,
much.
sir.
That was a wonderful dissertation there.
Entrapment.
Randy,
The trend.
one more game here. What you got here at San Francisco and Green Bay?
Well, and these are the games where it gets hard because there's only 3 weeks left. To have teams like this play when it matters.
Yeah. I mean, you're either going to play next week or you're going home.
The over, I'm going big money this week on the over. I love the over in this game. And I think this game, it could be a 34-31 shootout. Packers are going to score. If you look at them over the last 8 weeks, except that debacle, the 17-9 game, they were scoring a lot of points. What they did last week, and again, congratulations to Romeo, great Nevada boy.
Yes.
Did very well
Romeo
last
Dobbs,
week.
Another great
So-
playoff game.
I'm going over. The spread scares me. 9.5 again. Packers. And did you guys watch the Packer Cowboy game?
Every
Did
wonderful
you
minute
not? There was a little Rodgers in the step back there with Love throwing off balance on his back foot. Little Aaron Rodgers coming to life. This is going to be a great game. And again, to Nick's point, having that week off, it's going to be tough to beat the Niners. But that's too many points for a championship game, divisional game.
I'm glad you brought up kind of the similarities between Love and Rodgers, because what was Rodgers' playoff record against the Niners? So I think this is going to be the true test to see if he is really the next Aaron Rodgers.
The trend is my friend.
The trend is your friend. Aaron Rodgers has never beat the 49ers in the playoffs, for people that don't know.
One would think. Hometown.
Over. Big.
See, I don't know how to, I'll just take the play. I don't know if, like last week when you told me over in the Dallas game, I don't know if I should have taken out, some golden stamp and, hitting it, harder. And
I hit that. And again, I love the over 2 in the Lion game.
Yes, you did.
And it should have went way over.
Correct, but
It
you got there.
didn't. The Randy White luck again.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Take the over.
no need to go ahead. And, of course, I did say we're tracking all of this. So let's go ahead and just summarize everything quickly here. Randy, let's go from the top of just bet order. Texans and Ravens, you're laying the 9.5 with Baltimore. Green Bay, San Francisco, you're going over 50.5. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Detroit Lions, Randy. You're liking plus here. Plus the 6, not 6.5. I know we're talking about some stale numbers. Only the 6. And Kansas City at Buffalo. I don't know what happened there. Kansas City at Buffalo. You're liking Mahomes here. You want to see exactly what he's made of. So you're going to take the 2.5 points here. Onwards.
And again on that, they lost. The Chiefs lost 20-17 earlier in the year.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to beat a team of that caliber, and I know Chiefs and Eagles were not the same teams this year.
What week was that? Week 10?
It was early.
It was yeah. So I get what you're saying. Both of the teams I don't think are the same teams that we saw earlier in this year.
Well, the Bills have started to show it, but
100%.
I'm telling you, the mental psyche right here, it's going to be the key. I really believe this wholeheartedly. Mahomes never having to play on the road from divisional on. This could be a key.
There's not an episode that I can say this was a good episode unless I get a turn out the lights or some kind of Zen handicapping from Randy White, which we got both
Zen
of. So this definitely is going to be a special episode. All of you, again, tuning in for the first time, thank you so much. Nick, to review yours, let's go from the top again. The Houston Texans at the Baltimore Ravens. You're taking the Texans plus the 9.5. Packers at the Niners. You can't resist. You are laying the 9.5 here.
Niners by
Turn
14.
out the lights, the party's over.
Tampa Bay at the Detroit Lions. You're taking points here as well. So Tampa plus the 6. And, of course, Kansas City at Buffalo to wrap things up. You're grabbing the 2.5 points here as well. So lots of dogs, including a little total play from Randy. Gentlemen, thank you so much again for joining me here on this Friday. So we're going to be doing our fun episodes here on Friday, just before all of the playoff games begin for your betting information. Thank you so much again for joining us. For Nick Schulte, for Randy Wyke, I'm Robert Kowalski. Thank you so much. See you again next time.
Have a good one, guys. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Bookie and the Better Show.